and welcome to Channel 7 AFC Nightly News Broadcast. I'm anchorman Thomas Linehan. Today we have a special broadcast reviewing Chapter 18, Cold War Conflicts. At the end of World War II, Americans began to be haunted by a new fear. The Soviets had to embrace a tightly controlled political system called communism. Many believe it threatened the way of life. Throughout the nation, suspected communists were called before a House subcommittee for questioning. Anyone accused of un-American activity faced public humiliation and professional ruin. We're now going to take you out to our very own Channel 7 reporter, Nick Cabrera, for origins of the Cold War.
The United States and the Soviet Union emerged from World War II as two superpowers with vastly different political and economic systems. After World War II, differences between the U.S. and the Soviet Union led to the Cold War that lasted almost till today. Hopes for world peace were high at the end of the World War. The most visible sign for hope was the United Nations. As for the United States, the key figure in early years of conflict with the Soviets was President Harry S. Truman. As Truman became president, Truman's test as a diplomat came in July 1945, when the Big Three, United States, Great Britain, and Soviet Union had met in the final wartime conference at Potsdam near Berlin. The conference at Yalta, which the Soviets wanted to take reparations from Germany to help repay the Soviets for wartime losses. After hard bargaining, a conclusion was made that the Soviets, British, US, and French would take reparations mainly from their own occupation zones. The US became the economic leaders of the world. The Soviet Union had also emerged from the war as a nation of enormous economic and military strength. As the U.S. faced the Soviet Union threat, American officials decided it was time to stop babying the Soviets, as Truman stated. In 1946 of February, George F. Kennan proposed a policy of containment, which meant that taking measures of communist rule to other countries. Now back to you.
Thank you, Nick. Now out to Brianna Leone for more on origins on the Cold War.
Thank you, Thomas. The Cold War has begun. The U.S. tried to contain Soviet Union influence in Greece and Turkey. Like post-war Greece, Western Europe was in chaos. Most of its factories have been bombed, looted, and millions of people are living in refugee camps. Europe began to get back on its feet, and the U.S. and Soviet Union clashed yet again over German reunification. The resulting situation was dire. In an attempt to break the blockade, American and British officials started the Berlin airlift to fly food and supplies into West Berlin. The Berlin blockage increased Western European fear of Soviet aggression. As a result, Belgium, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, and Portugal joined the U.S. and Canada on April 4, 1949 to reform NATO, which is the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization. Back to you, Thomas.
Good reporting, Brianna. Now to Christian Zapian for more on The Cold War Heats Up.
After World War II, China became a communist nation, and Korea was split into a communist north and a democratic south. As soon as the defeated Japanese left China at the end of World War II, cooperation between the nationalists and communists ceased. Civil war erupted Asia between the two groups. In spite of the problems in the nationalist regime, American policy favored the nationalists because they opposed communism. The American public was stunned that China had become communist. Containment had failed. In Congress, conservative Republicans and Democrats attacked the Truman administration for supplying only limited aid to China. On June 25, 1950, North Korean forces swept across the 38th parallel and a surprise attack on South Korea. The conflict that followed became known as the Korean War. At first, North Korea seemed unstoppable. Driving steadily south, its troops captured Seoul. MacArthur launched a counterattack with tanks, heavy artillery, and fresh troops from the United States. On September 15, 1950, his troops made a surprise landing behind enemy lines at Longchon on Korea's west coast. The Chinese, however, had other ideas. Communist China's foreign minister, Zhao Enlai, warned that his country would not stand. Let the Americans come to the border. In late November 1950, 300,000 Chinese troops joined the war on the side of North Korea. To halt the bloody stalemate in early 1951, MacArthur called for an extension of the war into China. Convinced that Korea was the place where communist conspirators have elected to make their play for global conquest, MacArthur called for the use of nuclear weapons against Chinese cities. As the MacArthur controversy died down, the Soviet Union unexpectedly suggested a ceasefire. On June 23, 1951, the opposing sides reached agreement on 2 points: the location of the ceasefire line at the existing battle line and the establishment of a demilitarized zone between the opposing sides. Negotiators spent another year wrangling over the exchange of prisoners. Finally, in July 1953, the two sides signed an armistice ending the war. Now, back to you, Thomas.
Good job, Christian. Now we have, for section 3, we have a special interview with Paul Robison. Hi, I'm here with Paul Robison, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his life during the 1900s. So let's start.
Well, I was an All-American football player at the Rutgers University.
Were you a member of any fraternities there?
Yeah, I was in Phi Beta Kappa.
What did you do after that?
Well, I pursued a career in law, and shortly after that, I became a distinguished singer and actor.
Where did everything go wrong?
Well, I had sympathetic views to the Soviet Union, and so they revoked my passport for 8 years, and because I refused to sign an affidavit indicating whether I was a part of the Communist Party.
Well, what did you do during that time?
Well, I was blacklisted and unable to perform, so my income rapidly dropped from $150,000 to $3,000.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a quick break right now, show you a word from our sponsors. Stick around though, because there's more from Chapter 18, Cold War Conflicts.
Commercial break, yay!
I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now. I have an annuity, but I need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now. 877 cash now. They help thousands, they'll help you too. One lump sum of cash they will pay to you. If you get long-term payments but you need cash now, call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now.
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now.
Breaking news, I'm Joseph Romero reporting live out of AFC Channel 7 News Studio, here to report you Chapter 18, Section 4, Two Nations, Live on the Edge. During the 1950s, the U.S. and the Soviet Union came to the brink of a nuclear war. Ever since the development of the atomic bomb, scientists have possible ideas to create an even more destructive bomb, which later came to be known as a hydrogen bomb, aka H-bomb. The destruction of the hydrogen bomb has been estimated to have a force of 1 million tons of TNT. Across the ocean, the Soviet Union went into an arms race, aka Cold War, with the US and succeeded in making their own H-bomb, but only after the US did in 1953. As the Cold War began to spread, the US created the CIA. They used spies to gather information on anyone who posed a possible threat to the US. As tensions grew between the superpowers, the Soviet Union formed a military alliance which came to be known as the Warsaw Pact. This linked the Soviet Union with 7 Eastern European countries. Thank you. I'm Joseph Romero, Channel 7 AFC News.
Thank you for tuning in to Channel 7 AFC. I'm Thomas Linehan, reminding you to stay fine in America's finest city. Good night.
Hey, hey, teach me how to do it, hey. Baby like smooth, what? Can you teach me how to do it? You know why?